So let's start the session without any delay. Once again, good evening everyone. A scientific calculator is an inevitable device for us as students. In examinations, time is the most important resource. So the tips and tricks you know in using a scientific calculator can be a great advantage to you. There are so many functions in your calculator that you are yet to explore, and now is the time. IST is here with an interactive session FX-991EX tips and tricks, which will give you insight on all the required tricks and operations you can do on a scientific calculator. To guide you through this interesting session, here with us is Ms. Amrita Jiju, Webmaster of IST and Webmaster of IEEE RAS Kerala section. On behalf of IST and myself, I heartily welcome Ms. Amrita Jiju to take over the session. Over to you, Amrita.
Thank you so much, Govind, for this wonderful intro. And good evening, guys. Is there a YouTube live stream going on at the moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So greetings to all those who are in this meet as well as who is viewing via YouTube mode. And first, they have introduced me. I am Amrita Juju. I'm currently a second year BTech in Information Technology student at Government Engineering College, Barton Hill, Thiruvananthapuram. And I'm currently serving as a webmaster of ISTE GEC Barton Hill as well as IEEE RAS Kerala chapter. And it's my great pleasure to be here today to be with you guys and for taking this session. And let's move on. Without further ado, let's move on to the session. And thank you, ISTU, once again for organizing such a great event so that the beginner students will have an idea about how to use scientific calculators and can help them ace their examination. So let's start today's session. And first of all, today we are using the scientific calculator here as FX-991EX. This is FX-991EX, and basically this calculator is like a small device in which we can actually do a hell lot of problems and like almost each and every functions that we are required to do in our examinations, like everything that comes in between, and maybe like most time consuming steps, etc. So basically this is what exactly happening here. So let me share my screen for the moment. First of all, before starting the session, is there anybody who is having difficulty with me speaking in English? If there is, just leave a yes or no in the chat box. Is there any difficulty for you guys speaking with me speaking in English? Okay, let me alter the question. Is there anybody who has difficulty with me speaking in Malayalam? Okay, I'm not having any response yet. So just leave a yes or no in the chat box so that I can understand whether you are comfortable with me. So is it a no means you have no problem with me speaking in Malayalam or English? Okay, then let's go in a Manglish mode so that I can explain details in both Malayalam as well as English. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Okay. Let me share my screen now. So is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, basically a quick disclaimer: the PPTs, the images used in this PPTs is via Google search, and I don't own any kind of proprietary or rights for the images used. These are just for educational purposes only. So yeah, let's move on. So what is FX-991EX? It is basically a calculator in Casio's class B series, and its version model number is FX-991EX. It's basically a non-programmable scientific calculator. Does anybody know what's the difference between non-programmable scientific calculators and programmable scientific calculators? Okay, is there any response in the chat box? Let me see. Okay, there is no response. Then I'll explain it myself. In all universities, they prefer us to bring a non-programmable calculator, scientific calculator, rather than a programmable one. The reason behind this is a non-programmable calculator has functions that are predefined, and you can actually use the functions that are already inside the calculator. While in a programmable calculator, we can actually store different kinds of functions or maybe numerical data, etc. So that's the basic difference between a programmable and non-programmable calculators. In a programmable calculator, we can actually manipulate data, we can actually implement data, or maybe add some kind of graph, or maybe manipulate according to our wish. That's the basic difference between non-programmable and programmable calculator. And here, FX-991EX is a non-programmable calculator. And it has a wide variety of functions. Almost 552 functions we are able to perform almost 552 functions inside this. And like it is the main feature, one of the main feature of this calculator is that we can actually see how the in the way like we actually read it in our textbook, like 1 by root 2 is exactly written in the way that we are used to be seeing in the textbooks itself, rather than it is like 1 raised to 2, like not like that manner, just the same way we see in the textbook. It's just the actual display of the calculator. And coming to the another feature, the calculator is actually solar powered as well as battery is present. So there is no tension of this battery running out. Next is like we can actually create QR codes of equations and graphs, which I'll be discussing in the session soon. And yeah, that's the basic thing. And we have menu driven functions for actually all the functions that we use in this calculator. So it is more easy to do calculations or maybe switch to mode, etc. So that are the basic features of FX-991EX calculator. So this is the basic look of the calculator. And this calculator has almost 9 plus 3 modes, and which includes basically the calculating mode, that is just the basic calculator that we are using, like normal operations such as addition, division, subtraction, multiplication, root, etc. The basic things are being done like that. And the second thing is like complex numbers. We can actually do different varieties of complex number operations, multiplication of complex numbers, division, addition, subtraction, all the normal complex numbers programs, as well as argument, then coming to conjugates, etc. We can use that kind of functions in the complex number type of function in the complex mode. And coming to the next mode, that is base n mode. Like we can actually convert decimal numbers into like binary, hexadecimal, octal. So there are different modes for changing the base of the number in that. Next up is metrics. We can actually do all the metrics operations in this calculator. We can find the inverse, adjoint, transpose, everything we can do with this calculator. This calculator actually supports 4x4 metrics. And yeah, that's it. Now coming to the fifth mode is basically vector calculus. You can do vector addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, dot product, cross product, etc. in that mode. And next three modes is actually statistics, distribution, and spreadsheets. Statistics is basically like a mean, median mode, that functions, etc. we can do in statistics. Distribution also same kind of programs we can actually do in that. And the eighth one is spreadsheet. It's actually basically like what we do in spreadsheet or like our Microsoft spreadsheets and Google Sheets, etc. The same functions we can do in this calculator as well. So that's the three functions, and I won't be discussing in detail about the 6, 7, and 8 of the functions, as it is much time consuming than the remaining thing, and the remaining is actually way too important for you guys. And ninth one is actually table. Table is in the function. It's actually used to get values of a particular function. Like it is make the process of plotting a graph much more easier. So that's the ninth one. And I think almost everybody is looking forward for this function, that is A. That is equation function, about solving equations and like quadratic equation, cubic equation, maybe like system of equations, solving a system of equations. That's the A function. And B is linear inequality, C is ratio. So these are the basic functions of the calculator. So we can actually move on to the calculating mode of the calculator. And as I have mentioned, this I don't have an overhead camera setup right now. So we'll be switching over to an emulator of the calculator, which was downloaded from the same Casio website itself. So this is how the emulator looks like. Hope my screen is visible. Is the screen visible, guys?
Yes, your screen is visible.
So let me check whether just I am writing some random number and giving a addition. Is that really visible for you guys? This is actually the display, same display here. Are you able to see the screen, big screen, or should I increase the size of the screen? Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So yeah, basically we can actually just I'll take you to a tour into this calculator. Just let's see how all the functions really works, and then we can slowly switch over to the functions, different menu functions and all. Okay, so basically just I'll recommend you to take out a pen and paper so that you can just jot down what I'm saying. It's just a hands-on session, and I'll be explaining everything really fast at the moment. So kindly, if you have a pen or paper, just jot down the entire thing so that you won't miss anything. And I'll be just sharing my screen for the different modes so that if you are checking this particular video in future, so that you can easily navigate through the sessions. So is that okay with you guys? So I just switched to the screen so that I can see any chats. Okay. Thank you, Reshma. Yeah. So basically, the calculator consists of numbers from 1 to 9, then 0. And we have all the basic operations here, like plus, minus, division, and multiplication. And this is the equal to button where we will just type in numbers and go click equal to so to get our answers. And we have two buttons here. One is the shift button and the other is alpha button. Actually, it's like the shift button and alpha button is like well, we should decide between the choices of our function keys. When we look at the keys, like we can see that each of the keys has at most three operations, three functions that we can actually implement. So that just look at the case of this minus button. You have this minus button, minus written in white, and you have something yellow here, that's log here, and something written in pink like A here. So basically what it means that once you click shift and press this minus button, log operation will take place. And once you shift alpha and press this button, the letter A appears. So it's like choosing what you actually need or what function you should actually perform. So that's it. So I hope you are clear with the shift and alpha buttons. And now let's move on to the different buttons of this particular calculator. First of all, this is the on off button. You just click this button to switch on or off the calculator. And this is a menu button. So here is the menu button where we navigate to different functions. So these are the navigation buttons, basically, like plus, minus, like you should move left, right, up or down. So these are the navigation buttons. And once you want to select the required function you actually want, you can choose it by two methods. You can just navigate through to the function. So I am going for like equation solver. So I just use my navigation button to go to equation. Then I click equal to, then you will enter into that function. Otherwise, if you want to just say I need spreadsheet at the moment, you just click the number 8 also, you will enter into that mode. So yeah, is that clear? How you're choosing the menu function? Yeah, I hope it's clear. Okay, so let's move on to the remaining buttons. Okay, so first of all, these two buttons I'll reserve for last. First is the integration button. Basically, the integration button is like when we have to calculate the definite integral of a particular number, we use the integration button. It's like you just click the button and you have a space to write your function, and here are the space to write your limits, the same way you see in the textbook. So let's see. Let's write x square, okay, plus 8x plus 5. So this is my equation that I want to integrate. And I'm going to set up my upper and lower limits. To set up the upper and lower limit, you just use the navigation button on the right hand side to jump into that particular box so that you can set up your limits. So I'm going to set up my limit as 0 and 2 and press equal to. So you can see I got the answer like 86/3. So this is my answer for that particular integral. So this is how you calculate definite integrals. Okay. So yeah, that's a method. You can use any kind of single variable integrations functions to integrate using the limit. So that if you want pi, just click shift and this button. So you will receive a pi to set your limits, and the answer will come here accordingly. And if you want to differentiate a particular function with respect to a particular value, then you have to use the same button, but this time you have to use the shift button first. First, you click the shift button. You can see that there is a yes here. So that you have already clicked shift and you choose the same button, you get the differential form of the what say this function, like d by dx of this function. Let's say x square plus 8x plus 5, the same thing, 8x plus 5. Okay, 8x plus 5. Okay, so this is our function. You just go give a value x equal to 2, say x equal to 2, and just click the equal to button. You get the answer here. So is the differentiation and integration function clear? Okay. You should respond fast so that we can take the session moving.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so yeah, that's it. The next function is like next button is like just x. We can get the x variable by this function, and the shift button of this function is actually summation. You can actually just give sigma x 1 to 10. It's supposed to give the value 55. So yeah, it gives the value 55. Like x equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus, like that way. Summation. This is basically the summation. You can actually use it with complex numbers or complex set of equations and all. Just make sure that you use adequate amount of brackets in between so that you don't mess up the function. Okay, so is that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so yeah, now coming on to this button is basically the fraction button, where you can actually do the same fractions, addition, subtraction, etc. Here I am just giving 3 by 5 plus say 9 by okay, that's not in that, 9 by maybe 6. You press equal to, you get 21 by 10. And this is actually where some of my friends was way too confused, that it returns the value like the fraction form itself. How should we convert into decimal form? That was actually one of the greatest doubts my colleagues and my friends really had. So we actually have an option to convert this particular fraction into decimal. That is this button, S to D button. We can actually click that button to get the decimal form of the number. If you want to revert it back, just click it back again so that you can get the fractional form. So that's the button where we use to just convert into decimal as well as fractional forms. Okay. Now coming into this button, this particular button. Okay, wait, shift button of this button. Just click shift and this button. This is actually mixed fractions. It's like 3 is the whole part. Now 2 by 5. 2 by 5. Say 2 by 5 is the fractional part. If you just click equal to, it will give the normal fraction form, like 5 into 3, 15 plus 2, 17 by 5. Yeah, you can convert it to decimal and form. So it's basically the mixed fractions. So if you click shift and then equal to, you will find that you can actually convert it into mixed fractions as well. So that's the basic differences between that two functions. And now coming to this button is basically the root, square root button. So it's like just click 16 root, you will get 4. And if you want to find the cube root of a particular equation, it's like a shift and just give a cube root. So it's the cube root, say 27. 27 cube root is actually 3. So that's how this works, this button works. Now this is a square button, same principle, just like 2 squared. So you get 4, answer 4. If you want it to be cube, just click 2 shift cube and you get the value 8 here. And this is the generalizing button of these two functions. Like you have to click a particular number, say 2, and you have to raise it to a particular number, like say 4. From 2 raised to 4, you just click equal to, you get the answer of 2 raised to 4. Similarly, if you want to find the nth root of a particular number, just click shift and this button. So now say 4th root of 2. So you will get the answer like this. this is how basically it works. So this button can be we can actually say that this button is the generalization of these two buttons. You can actually use 2 or 3 here, but for the convenience, the square and cube buttons are given as shift buttons and normal buttons in this calculator. So yeah, next is the logarithmic button. We can actually do logarithmic in whatever base we actually want. We can actually take logarithm of base e. You just click shift and this 10 raised to x. That button is so sorry. You have to click alpha and this button to get e logarithm to the base e. Just say 16. Okay, so this is the logarithm value, logarithm 16 to the base e. That's how it works. If you want logarithm to the base 10, you just change the e to 10. So that's how the logarithm to the base 10 works. And this is basically the natural logarithm. So just click a number, and this is the natural logarithm of 16. And yeah, now for the shift part, just click shift into 10 raised to 10. You have to write a value, say 2. You'll give the value 10 raised to 2. You can actually club it with like multiplication or division, like that. You can club it with different functions as well. So that's basically the first full row of the functions. Next, coming to this button, it is actually the negative sign. Like in problems, we actually come across situations like you have to add plus within bracket minus 3x plus 2. Like that way, we have to do certain calculations. So for that purpose, instead of clicking this minus, we are actually using this minus for our convenience, so that the equation just does not go wrong. So for that purpose, this is given. And coming to this is actually factorization button. Basically, this button is like you just click 2 degree. It's just gonna give you 2 hour 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Like say, let's see a mixed fraction. Okay. So I want to know what 2 hours, 2.5 hours is. Would just, it's like time calculation. I just want to see how much time is 2.5 hours. So I just go click 2.5 and just give this degree symbol, so that I get 2 hours, 30 minutes and 0 seconds. This is how we read this particular expressions. Now coming to the next part, if you want to take the inverse of a number, you just click 6 and say inverse, 6 inverse. You will get the answer 1/6. So for taking the inverse, you just click this thing to get the inverse. And for the factorial of the number, just click shift. Okay, say 5 factorial. We want to find the value 5 factorial. Just click shift and factorial. Shift and x raised to minus 1 button. It will give you factorial symbol. So you will get the factorial numbers. Now the remaining 3 buttons is basically sine, cos, and tan. And you have the sine inverse button, cos inverse button, and tan inverse button as the shift buttons of sine, cos, and tans. Let's say, let's find something. Sine x, say sine x square. Let's go with a simple one. Sine x square. Okay. Okay. Sine x square plus cos x square. Okay, equal to. So yeah, you see the answer 1 here. So sine x square plus cos x square equal to 1. You can do such sort of calculations inside this. Now, if you want to take hyperbolic functions of sine, cos, and tan, just go to the options button. You can find the hyperbolic functions. You just click the one. You can see sine h, cos h, tan h, sine h inverse, sine cos h inverse, and tan h inverse. So that's how you take the hyperbolic functions of sine, cos, and tan. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now, this is actually used in this ENG button is actually used in complex numbers, and basically you already see me use these buttons. These are just bracket buttons or parentheses, which we use in between the calculations so that our session will be like does not give us wrong answers. So you should be actually careful when you are inputting long equations. Like you just put out adequate amount of brackets and as separation so that you just don't mess up the entire equation. If you just miss out a bracket, then the entire thing will be on the basis of the precedence order. So ensure that you keep brackets so that there is no errors caused. So this is memory plus and memory minus button, which is actually used to add or subtract some numbers which was stored already in the memory. So yeah, that's the memory button. Yeah. So that was basically it. Now let's check these two buttons. You already know it's multiplication and division. You have a shift button on this top. So what basically it does is like this is NPR and NCR. You know permutations and combination. If you want to find the permutation of a number, say 5C2, no 5P2, just click 5, then go shift P2. So it gives you the value of 5P2. Similar for 5C2, just click 5, shift value C and 2. That's 5C2. That's you will get the value for 5C2. So that was almost it. One more thing, if you want to find the percentage of a particular number, you just type the percentage, 10% of, say, 100. So you will get the answer like this. So this is a percentage symbol that covers almost all the buttons and its shift positions that you actually need for doing calculations. I hope that's clear for you guys. Is that clear for that shift operations and just calculations, basic calculations? Are you clear with the sessions?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, so that was basically our calculating mode. Next, we are moving on to the complex mode. So basically, if you want to switch over to complex mode, you just go for menu and you just choose 2. So you can find that you have an I here, which was not there in the previous sessions. So basically what it means that you actually got into the complex mode. Now you can use these buttons, this strip button and alpha button here, so that you can do operations. And now we can move on to the operations using complex numbers. We can see that in options, we have argument option, conjugate option, real part, imaginary part, and R angle theta and A plus IB. I'll explain what this is towards the end. First, let us see what is argument, conjugate, real part, and imaginary part. So let's say a number. What is actually argument? Argument is like if you are given a complex number, say 2 plus 2 root 3i. It's just a complex number. What argument actually is tan inverse y by x. If it is a form x plus iy, tan inverse y by x is actually the argument of the particular complex number. So what we actually do is here, we just go to options, choose argument. So we have, in order to choose argument, we have to click number 1. Okay. So you have ARG here. Now you just click, let's say 2 plus 2 root 3. Just click this button after you enter a root so that it just does not keep typing in, so that it comes out of the root, and just add I. Okay. So now click equal to, you will find 60. 60, why it's 60? Tan inverse of 2 root 3 by 2. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. Tan inverse of root 3, which is tan inverse of tan 60. So So the argument of the function is 60. That's how you get the argument of this particular equations. Okay, so that's how you find it. Now you can actually use it with multiple functions. Say you have to add two numbers, like you just add a bracket here and a bracket here. You just give a plus sign and say 5 plus 2i, and you just click equals. You will get the argument of that function. The summation of these two functions, you will get the argument of that particular function. And that's how argument works. Okay, now we are moving on to the next part. Like next is conjugate. Conjugate is basically if you are writing a complex number like x plus iy, it will basically convert it into x minus iy. So that's what conjugate is. Like let's say 3 plus 2i. You just give equal to, it just changes to 3 minus 2i. The answer is 3 minus 2i. So that is actually what conjugate is. Now, the real part. Real part is like it will display the real part of the number, like 3 plus 2i. It will display the real number. That's 3. And the same case for imaginary numbers, like 4. You can give 4 and say 3 plus 28, 29i. Okay, 29i. You just get the answer 29. So yeah, that's how the real and imaginary part works. And the next set of function is actually what you really need for your calculations, especially for electrical students and all. You will get a phasor diagram, and you have to convert a particular complex number into polar or vector form, rectangular forms. So in order to convert a particular number, a particular complex number into polar or rectangular forms, these two functions are being used. So first one is actually converting rectangular coordinates into polar coordinates. And the second one is actually converting into polar coordinates into rectangular coordinates. So what do you mean by actually polar and rectangular is like if you are actually giving the number x plus iy, we take two numbers like r and theta. R is basically, which is actually like x is equal to r cos theta and y is equal to r sin theta. So that is what actually depicted here. So let's see an example for the same. For an example, say some number. 2 plus root 2i. So that it will give some real numbers. 2 plus root 2 I. And you have to convert this into polar form. In order to convert it into polar form, you go to options. Now select option 1. So you can see it now. It's actually the rectangular coordinates. You have a triangular symbol here and r angle theta. So once you click equal to, you can see it's 6 angle, some angle is here. So that is what actually we can see here. So root 6 is actually the r value of this particular function, particular complex number, and 35.26 is actually the angle or theta value of this particular equation. Okay. Now, let's see how to convert a polar form into rectangular form. In order to convert a polar form into rectangular form, you just take 2 and you have to, this is the r value, and you have to set up an angle for that. In order to set the angle, you just click shift and this ENG button. Shift and ENG button, just say 45 degree. Since it's in the degree format only, we are actually giving 45 degree. So yeah, 2 angle 45, then you press equal to, you get 2 plus root 2i, which is actually not needed. We are actually discussing about the rectangular form. So you just have to go to 2. So a plus ib, the same function 2 plus root 2i will actually display on the screen. So that was actually what the two sets of functions in the complex mode actually states. So are you guys clear with the complex portion of this calculator?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going a bit fast so that you can cover the entire topic by the end of the session. You can actually get the recording so that you can rehear the entire thing. So yeah. Now, as mentioned, we are now moving on to the base N mode. Base N mode is actually like converting our decimal, hexadecimal, etc. That mode is like base N. So base N, you just go to the menu option, then click 3. So it's basically the decimal form. You just click a decimal number. Say a decimal number. Just anybody shout out some decimal number. Just see some natural number or something. Okay, I'll come up with something. 27892. Okay. Yeah, that's enough. So this is a decimal number that I want to convert into hexadecimal, binary, or octal number. You just click the number, then hit equal to. So it is now stored in the memory of the calculator. Now you have to convert into hexadecimal, binary, or octal mode. You just hit the like these 4 buttons. You can see that here this X square button is basically a decimal button. This X raised to something button is hexadecimal. Logarithmic button is binary, and natural log button is octal. So you just click the button, you get the hexadecimal value. 6CF4 is the hexadecimal value of that particular number. Now going on to the binary. So this is the binary format of that number, and octal number, you get the octal number of that particular number. So the thing is simple. If you want to convert a decimal number into any other forms, just hit the decimal number and click equal to, so that it stores in the memory of the calculator. Now you should choose the options from which you actually want to take the entire thing. So yeah, that's it. If you want, you can actually do the reverse also. If you want to just do a hexadecimal number, you just click AC, then choose this mode. This is hexadecimal mode, and say 6. Here is where the alpha buttons come into play. Just click alpha button, and I just go for C. 6C, and say F4. That's a hexadecimal number. Just store it in the memory. Okay. Yeah. You just go for the decimal, binary, hexadecimal, etc. for that you can actually store it in the memory. So yeah, that's how you do the base N method. Yeah. So yeah, that was how we do the base N method. And next is one of the important mode for engineering students. Your first year engineering, you'll encounter with matrix problems way too much. So next is the matrix mode. Matrix mode, actually we basically have many operations like finding the inverse of the matrix, addition of matrix, multiplication of matrix, transpose, and many more functions are there. So I'll show you how to do matrix functions really carefully so that you can understand it very clearly. So just make sure that you hear this particular portion really well. So for the matrix option, you just hit the menu button, then click the number 4. This is the first interface of the matrix. So basically you can see here 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the definition of the matrix, like matrix A, matrix B, matrix C, and matrix D. You just go for matrix A, that is 1. Okay. Now it asks you the number of rows and columns of the matrix. So as you can see here, FX-991EX calculator actually supports the matrix from with 4x4 matrix, that is 4 rows and 4 columns. That's the maximum support of this particular calculator. So what you actually do is you just set the number of rows and columns. Say I'm going to do a sum with 3x3 matrix. So I just click 3. Now the number of columns, again I click 3. So you can, as you can see here, you get a matrix display, and now you have to input the values. To input the value, just click the number, hit equal to. So you can see that that 0 was changed to 1. Now hit equal to equal to. Okay, so that we can fill the rest of the numbers like this: 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So once it's filled, you can see that the matrix is actually filled, and you can actually click easy button. You go to the option, you just take the matrix 3. You can find that your matrix is already inside, already dotted. Now, for defining the next matrix, the procedure is actually a bit more complicated. You just actually go to the options. Now you see the first option is define a matrix. So you click 1. Now you go to the matrix B, like click 2. It asks you the number of rows and columns, let's say 3 by 3. And now this time I'm going to add some negative numbers as well. Let's say 1, -4, 3, 2, -5, -7. Then what? 4, -6. Okay. So now our matrix B is also set. So now we have two metrics stored in the memory location of the calculator. So now let's see how we do the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. of this matrix. What we basically do is that you just hit the option button. I want matrix A plus matrix B. So just click the option matrix A, that is 3, 3. Then you hit the normal plus button. Go to options again. Choose the matrix B. For that, click 4. And you press equal to, you can find that the matrix, the summation of the matrix is actually here, solved here. You can actually add to matrix with this particular function. So you see that you can navigate through to find what exactly the value is. So yeah, that's how you do a summation of the matrix. Now for multiplying two matrix, say 3 matrix A into matrix B, hit equal to, you get the multiplied product, that is matrix A cross B of the particular matrix. So that's how you multiply a matrix. Okay. So you can actually do all the basic calculations like matrix A, multiplication, subtraction, etc. Now to find the inverse of the matrix, just click matrix A and look for the inverse button here. So where was the inverse button? Yeah, this is the inverse button. Oh, it's showing error now. Actually, that was a procedure to do inverse. I just don't know how it turned out like that. Let's see, raise to something works. At A raised to -1. Oh, again, it's showing error. Anyway, let's come back to it later. Okay. Now, let's see the transpose of a matrix. So we have another set of metrics, that is we can find the determinant of the matrix and transpositions of matrix. We can actually find the determinant of the matrix from actually hitting 2, then going to option, then hit matrix 2. Okay. So that's the determinant of the matrix. Matrix A. If you want to go to the matrix B, just delete the entire thing. Just go and 4. So that's the matrix B. Matrix A, the determinant of matrix B is 100. So that's how you do it. Finding the determinant of the determinant of the matrix. Now we can actually find the transposition of the matrix. For that, we actually need the option 3. Okay. Now just go to the options. Go to the next menu and just click 3. So you have to find the transposition. Just hit matrix A and yeah, that's how you find the transpose of the matrix. Why was there actually an error for this? Finding the inverse, let me check in my normal calculator. Okay. So defining matrix A, you just give a 3 by 3 matrix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Just go to the options and yeah. Actually, I'm getting the answer here. I just don't know what happened there. Yeah, that's basically an error. Maybe emulator error.
Actually, its determinant is 0. That's why you are not getting the inverse of the matrix.
Yeah, inverse of the matrix. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm not getting the inverse of the matrix for that. Yeah, let's see for the next one. Like fourth one, you just go hit. Fourth one, you just go for the inverse. You get the inverse of the matrix. Yeah. So that's how you find the inverse of the matrix. So that was basically it. And if you want to find the adjoint of the matrix, how will you do? It's like there is no adjoint option here. There is actually no adjoint option here. It's just a basic operations. And for that particular thing, you just see transposition of the matrix, identity matrix. So yeah, to find the adjoint of the matrix, we actually what we do is for finding the determinant of the matrix, we actually do 1 by determinant of A into adjoint of A. So finding the adjoint of the matrix, we actually multiply the determinant to the normal value. So instead, we say determinant of A into A inverse. So what we do is like just go, let's say determinant of, so A was the 1, 2, 3 matrix, right? So B, let's say B. Fourth one, B. Determinant of B into B. Fourth one is B, right? So you get the adjoint of the particular matrix. That's how you find the adjoint of the matrix. So you can also do all the basic calculations like 3 into matrix of A. Like that way also you can do. Just say a constant number into matrix of A. So yeah, that's how you multiply a particular matrix. So yeah, that's the basic matrix operations that we can do with a calculator. So I just showed you how to add, subtract, multiply, and take the transpose, adjoint, and add with a constant number. You can also take the square of the matrix, like just go shift option, just take a square, you get the square form of the matrix. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, in with this, I would like to also get say you something that is more important while coming to matrix operations. You can actually solve a particular kind of equations using the normal form. Like if you go back to the normal form, and if we want to like do the row and column operations, like we have to keep a particular type of number, say 3A plus B, and we have to keep on solving by adding values to A and B. You can actually do that in this calculator. Like first you let's say 3A plus B, 3, then go to alpha value, just A plus B, alpha B. You have to calculate the value. So say, okay, oh, I just misplaced it. 3A plus B, oh, alpha B. So you have to calculate, just hit the calculate button and say, I want to set the value of A equal to 1 and B equal to 2. So you're supposed to get the answer 5. If you want to solve that calculate value again with different numbers, you just hit the calculate again. 6, you just hit equals, and 3 hit equal. You get the value of 3A plus B for that particular values. So this kind of approach can help you for doing row and column operations. So that's how you do a calculation based on a predefined set of values, or by setting up an equation and giving values as input. So that's how you do it. That's what the calculation button is used for. So yeah, that was almost about the matrix mode. Now coming to the vector mode. Vector mode is actually the fifth one in this calculator. Now you can see that 1, 2, 3, and 4. First one is you have to define the vector. So let's say I'm gonna set the vector as 1, vector A, and maybe I just gonna add. I'm gonna take the dimension as 3 so that I can get xi plus yj plus zk. So you can see that you have a matrix here like this. So this value represents the x value, this one is the y value, and this is the z value. So it's basically like xi, yj, zk. So now I'm going to input the values. Let's say 6, -2, -1. Okay. Vector A. Now this is already stored in the memory of the calculator. Now hit AC. Now go to the options. Again, same method, define another vector, say 2. I'm going to set the value of dimension as 3 as well, and I'm going to say 5, -8, maybe 2. Yeah, that's enough. So I have 2 vectors in the memory of the calculator now. Now I have to take the normal product, like cross product of this particular vectors. What we actually do is like go to the previous settings, like options, hit 3, cross vector B. So this is like vector A cross vector B. You will get the vector product like -12i plus -17j minus 38k. You get the value like what it is in the vector form. When you hit the normal cross button, you will get the cross product of that particular vector. Now, if you want to get the dot product, you have to go to the option, get 3, and you have to scroll down to the next set of pages, and you can find the dot product here. So that's 2. Then say vector B. So that will give you the dot product of that particular vector. Okay. Now again, we have to find the angle between the two numbers. You actually use this angle function. So what actually just delete that and go to options. Go to the angle. Okay, angle for the angle option, you should actually give like vector B. Now you have to insert a comma here. So you click shift and this right hand side parenthesis, you just give a comma and then go to options again. Take the third one so that you can find the angle between them. You just hit equal to, that's 44.55 something degree. So that's the angle between the two vectors. So that's how you find the angle between two vectors. Yeah. And unit vector, if you want to find the unit vector of a particular vector, just hit unit vector. Okay. You just go to unit vector and say vector A. And you close the bracket and just hit equal to, you can find the unit vector of that particular vector. So that's how you find the vectors, unit vector of the particular vector. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Almost all the vector operations are also done. So I hope you guys are clear with all that session. We are already running out of time. I'll try my level best to actually solve the entire thing. So yeah, now this was the most awaited moment of that entire calculator journey, the equation mode. So yeah, we can move on to the equation mode now. Now, basically what we do in equation mode is we actually go to A. this is what equation is. You can actually hit this button to get the equation mode. You can find that there is simulus equation and polynomial equation. This is basically solving a set of equation, like maybe with 2 or 3 unknown variables. You have to solve a set of equations for this particular type of program. And for this particular function, we are actually finding the roots of a polynomial, like say cubes, quadratic equation, cubical equation, like that way. We are finding the roots, then we use this particular function. For the first one, we just hit the first one. They'll ask the number of unknowns for that particular number. Say, let's say 3. So now you can see that it is in the form like of a matrix. You can say x plus y plus z equal to a number. So x plus y plus z is equal to a number. So you can actually input the values like 2, then hit equal to 1, 1 equal to 7. Okay. For the next equation, like 2 minus 1, then what? 2 equal to 6. Okay. Yeah. Now we are moving on to 1 minus 2, 1 equal to, let it be 0. You can, then when you hit equal to, like, yeah. Okay, so you have set the numbers in the calculator's memory, like the 3 equation that you are needed to solve the particular set of equations. And when you hit equal to, it will display the first value, that is x value, x is equal to 1. Now, when you hit equal one more time, you will get the value of y, and you hit equal to one more time, you get the value of z. So that's how you solve the thing. You can actually use it for 2 unknown variables also. For 2 unknown variables, it's like you have only 2 equations which are required to solve the set of equations. So it will be 2, like let's see the model, like 1, and you just go for the unknowns, it's like 2. So you can see x plus y equal to something, x plus y equal to something. In that form only you will come. So what you have to do is basically input the number and hit equal to. Say, 2 minus 1, 3. So the next equation will be 3. Okay. You hit the equal to, you get x is equal to 2, y equal to 1. So that's how it works. And we have one more type of equation that we can actually solve. That's the polynomial mode. It's like you have to hit the number 2. Now you are being asked the degree of the polynomial. So I'm actually first going with a quadratic equation, like I'm going to give the degree 2. You can find that you have ax square plus bx plus c. You have to input the value, input the coefficients, like say x square plus 5x plus 6. Okay. Once you hit equal to, you will start receiving the values, that is the roots of that particular quadratic equation. Like if you hit equal to now, you get x1 equal to minus 2, x2 equal to minus 3. For quadratic equation, you will also receive the maximum and minimum values as well. If you click the equal to sign once more, you get the minimum value of that particular function. And coming to, if you hit one more time equal to, you get the maximum value. Okay. So minimum value. Okay. That's how you do it. Okay. So yeah. Now coming into the polynomial itself, let's try a third degree polynomial as well. So here you can see x cube, x square, x and a constant term is also there. So you have to add like say 1, 5, 2, 8. Okay. That's enough. You can find x1 value here, x2 value here, and x3 value here. So this came like this because it's a complex number. You can see minus something. So that's the reason why it's like that. So you can get real as well as complex solutions as well for that equation. So yeah, that's how you do that's how we sort out equations using the FX-991EX calculator. Okay. Now coming to the inequality portion. Okay. Now you have the linear inequality mode. Linear inequality mode is basically like you have to find when you have to find the range between, or you have to find the difference between two numbers. It's like in what range we will find the values. You can use this kind of function. So you have to hit B for that, and again it will ask us the degree. I'm going with 2. You can find that there is 4 options. That is ax square plus bx plus c is greater than 0. Ax square plus bx plus c is less than 0. Ax square plus bx plus c greater than or equal to 0. Ax square plus bx plus c less than or equal to 0. So I'm first going to do ax square plus bx plus c greater than 0. So for that we hit 1, and like 1 plus 5 plus 6. Okay. Now when I hit equal to, you can find the value x can be less than -3, or x can be greater than -2. So that's the range where you find the numbers which satisfies that linear inequality. Okay. Now if we go for the greater than or equal to portion also, you just have to hit the polynomial. You just go for 2 and let's say greater than or equal to. So again, the same polynomial is here. Just hit equal to, you can find the range. X less than or equal to -3, or x less than or equal to, x greater than or equal to -2. So that's how you basically do the linear inequality function. You can use any type of variables or any type of equations to find the range of that linear inequality from this calculator. So that's the linear inequality mode. Now coming to the table mode. This is going to be exciting. So yeah. And now you go for table mode. You just hit 9. It will ask you f of x value. So I am actually going to give the absolute function for this particular example. You just hit, for getting absolute function, you just hit shift and go for the left hand side parenthesis, and I'm going to give the value x. Okay, I'm going to set that value. Okay, now for g of x, I'm just going to give the value x. Okay, yeah, x is enough. Okay, x. Yeah. Now I have to set a start range and end range. Okay, I just give the start range as -10 and the end range as 10. Let's keep the step as 1 itself. Now I hit equal to. You can find the table where we have the answers of that f of x and g of x. You see, this negative numbers are actually turned into positive numbers because it's an absolute function. And since g of x is x itself, you can see it's the same number. So you get it in a table form. Okay. Now I'm going to just introduce you towards the QR function of this calculator. So you can actually generate a QR code for this set of equations. What you have to do is you just click shift and go to options. So you just click shift and option. You have a QR code here. Since I'm using the emulator, I have a QR code also here. So what we are actually going to do is we just click the QR code. It will take you, redirect to the official website of Casio, where you can actually see in the function that I already entered. And here we can see the graph of that function. See, I just gave the range 10 to 10. So you can see the graph. This is a this blue line is the g of x graph, and this red V is the absolute function graph. So that's how you use QR code for doing calculations. Get the results. So yeah, that's it. Now coming to the ratio mode. So the ratio mode is like, you just go to the ratio mode, just go to C. You can find that you have two sets of option here. One is you just give A is to B, then you can find X is to D. That D value also you should give, X is a variable here. And in the second type, you have to actually give the ratio first, and C is to X. You have to find the denominator portion is the variable. So I'll give you the example like 1. You just set up 1. Okay, 1 is to 2. Let's set 1 is to 2 equal to X is to, let's say 60. X is to 60. So you will get the value of X. Once you hit equal to, you will get the value of X, that X is equal to 30. Similarly, if you want to select the type, you just go to option, you just hit 1 and you just hit 2. Now the denominator portion is actually the variable. You just set 1 as to 2. You just value, just say 60 as 2. You're supposed to get the value 120. Yeah, that's the value 120. That's how you do the linear inequalities, or sorry, ratio modes. And yeah, that's it. Now we have actually 3 more to discuss, functions to discuss. So we have time limitations. We just see what the 3 modes is. I'm not going to explain much details of that. So the 6th is basically the statistics mode. So I'm just going to explain the first one, that is the variables one. You just get some random numbers, say 24, 25, 26, 25. Okay, yeah, that's enough. You just go to options and you can find one variable calculator. You just hit 3. You can find mean, median, summation, mean, median, mode, standard deviation, etc. of that particular set of numbers. So you can maximum value, mean, median, mode, minimum value, Q1, Q2, Q3, and etc. of that particular data. So basically, the statistics operation is like you have a set of variables and you have to actually give inputs, and you can receive the entire details of that collection of data. So that's how the statistics work. Then the distribution mode. So distribution mode has a wide varieties of applications such as normal PD, CD, in normal binomial CD, Poisson's ratios, etc. So that's actually very complicated to discuss at this particular moment. If I have time, I just drop what the entire thing is in the group chat. Yeah. Now we have the spreadsheet. Spreadsheet is basically the spreadsheet that we see in the like Excel itself. You can actually input values, just input values, maybe 69. You can input values. You can actually do summations, etc. in this particular spreadsheet. You can go to options to find fill formula, value, cell space, free space, cut, copy, paste, delete, or recalculate. The same method that we use in a normal spreadsheets or Google Sheets, you can actually do all the functions in that calculator. So yeah, that's almost all the things. I think I have covered the entire thing. Okay. Once again, for these options, we actually find 3 sets of things. That is, second one is angle unit. You can find that when you come to the normal mode, you have a D here, which is basically just means that you are in the decimal mode. Degree mode. If you want to change it into radian or some other modes, you just go to angle unit. And if you want to change it to radian mode, just hit 2. So you just get that angle. So yeah. And coming to this one, this is the engineer symbol. You can find all the varieties of engineering symbols like NKT, mu, P, etc. So basically, you have to store the values of that you are able to store the values of that functions here. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's almost pretty much it. I hope you guys understood what the entire section was about. I hope I covered the entire thing. So yeah, that's the end of it. If you have any doubts, just come forward and you can ask.
If you have any doubts, please drop the questions in the chat box.
Mm,
I hope there are no further questions.
yeah, for the quiz. If you, I'll share the guide of this particular calculator, maybe startup guide as well as the user manual in the group. I'll drop it in the group itself so that you can refer in future. And if you have any doubts, if you are not in a position to ask now, if you have any doubts while using the calculator, you can feel free to contact me at any moment of time. I'll be very happy to help you guys. And if you don't have a calculator at the particular moment, just download the emulator from the Casio website. You have actually 90 days of activation. You can do the entire thing there. And if you are planning to buy a calculator, just don't go for some normal calculators. Just buy FX-991EX itself. It's like around 1300 or 1290 something, that range only. So just get that calculator so that you can use it during the entire course of time. Yeah, so I hope almost you guys understood the entire session. I was just running very fast so that I can complete the entire functions. Maybe not the entire function, there are almost 552 functions in this particular calculator. So I just managed to get what you actually need for your examinations. So I hope I have covered the entire topic, and thank you so much for being a patient listeners. And once again, thank you IST for giving me this opportunity. And as you all know, IST SBG CVH is like always keep promises. And if you want any more future events, you can actually feel free to contact us so that we can arrange such events in future also. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Amrita, for this functional and informative session. I'm sure all the applications you signified will help the participants. Also, much appreciation to all the participants who joined through both Google Meet and YouTube live stream for making this event such a great success. The feedback form is provided in the chat box. Do fill in. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, guys.